What's cracking, guys? Omer Surf Clam here, back with another video. In this video today, we're talking about developing the V-taper, aka how to try and make your waist appear a little smaller. We talk about aesthetics, proportion, symmetry definitely plays a role. And again, I can't emphasize this enough before I go on. Genetics play a huge role when it comes to this, your body fat distribution, where you store body fat. And so maybe some of the bros out there can relate to this video, because for myself, again, people store body fat in different areas. You can't influence that despite what supplement companies or some people might tell you. It's genetics that largely determine that. So some people, they might be lower body they store, so their legs are soft when they're at a higher body fat percentage. That's where they store it. Other obviously common areas as males would be in our stomach area, where we develop guts. Sometimes backs remain fat, lower backs. For myself, it is actually always around that lower back. That's the last area to lean out. And this has always been the case ever since I started lifting. And then I finally realized over a period of time, it's like, you know what, I can get lean, I could get to 10-11% body fat, and well, that will still go down that waist in the back. What is better to try and target is that V-taper, try and make the upper body look bigger, make the lats look bigger, make the deltoids look a little bit bigger to give that proportion and symmetry. We can only influence our waist so much, especially if we're doing big compound movements like the squat, the deadlift. It develops a slightly thicker core, which I think is a great thing. I'm not saying stop that stuff at all, but playing with the genetics that we have, we don't determine our waist width essentially once we strip away everything else, get to a lean body fat percentage. That's what you got. Some people have more narrow waist. If you're like myself, where I'd say it's a moderate waist, and you also store a little bit of body fat, tend to hang on to that area, even when you're 11, 12, 13, 14% body fat, then the true goal of yours, if you want to develop that V-taper, remember obviously we say V-taper, that's what I'm showing back photos, is where your lats and everything, it kind of goes like this, the shape of your body, is to overemphasize certain muscles, because what we can do, what we can change are the muscles in our body. We can grow those. It's much easier to try and grow muscles in certain areas to accentuate your physique rather than continuously try and reduce a certain area, aka your waist, because there is that finite point. When you get to 10%, 9%, yeah, it'll get a little bit smaller, but if you don't have that upper body to match that or to be once again bigger, we're talking about proportions for that V-taper, you'll still kind of look blocky. So I think that the V-taper, developing the back, I've talked about this a little bit before when I talked a lot about pull-ups, but I think developing the back, quite frankly, is underrated. Even from the front, if you have well enough developed lats, you can see them from the front, but also the deltoids. So let's talk about these two components in this video today. What can we do with our genetics? Again, I'm going to assume that we're not trying to lower our body fat percentage. We have our waist is a certain width. What we want to try and focus on is growing or are growing those lats. And there are several different things that we can do. I'm posting some photos now recently where I am quite happy. In 2016, I started that fat loss. I was like 190 pounds. And the first thing I noticed, because I was focusing more on strength movements, I was just getting into weightlifting, I had taken out pretty much all my accessory movements. So my back movements, all those sorts of things. I noticed, I'm like, you know what, my back's looking pretty small. So I made it that entire goal over a 12 to 16 month period of training my back far more often, doing a lot more pull-ups. I didn't want to do bench over rows, a horizontal pulling off the ground, because I found it on my lower back a little too taxing, so I stuck to vertical pulling. When it comes to the lats, I think one of the keys, the top key I should say, is high frequency, high volume. Certain areas need a certain amount of stimulus in order to grow. Not every single muscle group is the exact same. I have found for myself taking a higher volume, higher frequency approach, so that means training my back or doing a vertical pull. You can also do a horizontal pull. I'm not trying to say there's a one-size-fits-all approach. I'm not trying to say everyone should be doing pull-ups. I think pull-ups are phenomenal. They should be a staple. My results speak for themselves. But if you don't find that a pull-up works for you, bro, do a pull-down. Find a movement that you could progressively overload on and do that over time. And I know that sounds fairly obvious, but I'd say instead of training, you know, some people might have back day, chest day, whatever, how they break it up. I don't think that makes the most amount of sense. I think there is more than enough research to show training a muscle group more than one time per week is, for most people, superior when it comes to hypertrophy. So hitting up your back more like 2-3 times per week, spreading out that volume, targeting different rep ranges throughout the week. So you do heavier loads, moderate loads, lighter loads with more repetitions. It is a surefire way to basically try and target your lats as much as possible. So that's the first thing I would say when it comes to developing your lats. Pick the movement that you want to excel at. It's like anything else. When it comes to building that upper chest, I've talked about this before. You think the ass chest was an accident? I found the movement that I like the most, the low to high cable flies, as well as a low incline bench press. Did both of those movements a hell of a lot, got better over time, stronger in those movements, and then my chest grew. So same idea when it comes to the lats. I would say strongly that pull-ups are a great option. Again, you want to do it from a dead hang, go all the way up, full range of motion. So that's number one. And two, high frequency, high volume. The third thing that I want to talk about, however, is we go from lats, pick a lat movement, and just do it a hell of a lot more. The third component I want to talk about once you do those things would be the deltoids. And once again, as a natural individual, we can only influence this area so much. Parts of our body are higher responders, for lack of a better phrase there, when it comes to training, meaning that, talking about calves, quite honestly, for some people, training them as hard as possible, as frequently as possible, they'll get minimal development, whereas if you took that exact same amount of training time to your quads or maybe to your chest, bigger muscle groups, you'd probably get a better return on investment. And so I think that lats, between the two options, lats, you'll get a far bigger return on investment than you would when it comes to deltoids, but deltoids are still crucial, and you should try and do everything in your power to try and make your shoulders stronger. And if your goal isn't just bodybuilding, I will say, and I'm going to throw up a clip here, that developing my lats over time, basically doing thousands upon thousands of pull-ups, and now I'm also doing, for the erectors, the spinal erectors, I'm doing a lot of slow, stiff leg deadlifts. Developing my back in the last 16 months have made my deadlifts feel the best they've ever felt, plus of course the great programming from the couch. But a strong back, strong lats really contribute to a stronger deadlift. I think it was like 470 pounds for an easy 8 reps. I'm going to do basically 5 plates, 490 pounds. This coming week we're probably 7 reps and leave at least a rep or 2 in the tank. So things are coming together. The development of the lats have really assisted. Anyways, lats probably have a bigger return on investment when it comes to your training if you're trying to be frugal with your time, how much time you spend in the gym. But delts still play a role. I would say those same staples. I have a few movements that I love, and I try and do them a hell of a lot. And once again, I am someone that needs to improve on all this, so I am by no means trying to be the expert on these things, on my physique, on having a presentable physique, but it's coming along. I would say that either a rear delt fly of your choice, something that you want to do, so I've actually been doing that pretty frequently. It doesn't quite show yet, but again, I'm training it more frequently, so 2 to 3 times per week. Same idea when it comes to the lateral raise, as well as then face pulls. Keep in mind that for most of us, our training style, if we do a lot of bench press, we have a lot of that internal shoulder rotation. We're using our anterior deltoid a lot. We're using our pecs a lot. So just balancing this out from a structural standpoint probably makes a hell of a lot of sense when it comes to your training. So we want to emphasize that V-taper. How do we do that? We can't really influence our waist. We can lose body fat, but for some of us that have stubborn body fat in that area, in that love handle area, we can only reduce it so much. It makes more sense then, if we want to build a more proportionate physique, symmetrical, to try and focus on what we can change, our muscles. And the big one, once again, are the lats. Find that movement that you're good at, that you can progressively overload, that you feel your lats when you're targeting them. Do it a hell of a lot, so do it high frequency, high volume. Also change up the rep, set, and intensity range. And then also add in a little bit more deltoid work, in particular your side and rear deltoid. So we want to talk about those face pulls when we talk about shoulder health. We want to talk also about aggressively doing moderate frequency, so I'd say at least 2 to 3 times per week, lateral raises as well as rear delt flies, just because in a lot of compound movements, they do get targeted, don't get me wrong, but they probably don't get enough love, the love that they need in order for them to grow. Again, certain muscle groups are a little bit more stubborn, and those areas, particularly the deltoids, you need to train them more frequently. Anyways, guys, I posted a photo of the back development. I got some positive responses. People asked me about the V-taper. It's something that I'm working towards. I am bulking right now, actually, in the photo that you see. That's after the 10,000 calorie challenge, where I gained a solid, honestly, about 1.5 pounds almost of just pure fat. Just would not recommend doing it again. But even with that, even with all those things, all those variables, training is going great. And so I think you can see over time that change. Even when I was leaner, so I was, instead of being 183 pounds, I was 150 some, 160 some pounds, and I was a leaner body fat percentage. I still had that fat around the lower body, the let's say lower back fat. And so instead, by emphasizing the muscles above the lower back, it's really helped bring about the back development, which is then emphasized the V-taper, which just makes overall for a better looking physique. Anyways, that is all the time we have. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked the video, I'm looking right at you. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, make sure to like the damn video. Also, let me know in the comment section below what type of content you want to see more of. Now, we had a few projects. I was doing some things when it comes to Gnosis Nutrition. Very exciting stuff. We're releasing a new flavor. We also have a Kaizen bodybuilding program with Alberto. It's coming. I see the comment sections, guys. It's coming. Stay tuned. And then a huge collab with a Russian strength coach that we all admire as part of Kaizen, myself, Mike, and Bart. That's going to be amazing. Stay tuned. We got that out of the way. Let me know what you want to see. I'm going to get out of here. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see all you guys, my rascals, in that next video. Peace.
Eat your vegetables, eat your vegetables, eat your fucking vegetables.